So this woman at the bank that I just went to asked me, I was making a withdrawal from my bank for $4,000. And she asked me the bank teller asked me what I'm spending the money on. Uh, she's like, what's it for? I was like, what do you spend your money on? You know, why are you asking me that? You know? And she's like, I didn't, she's trying to give me an answer, you know? And I'm like, I'm using this money to traffic children for the United States government and to protect Epstein's client list so they don't get it in trouble. And there's a few people in there, there's a few people working there. There's someone's in there doing a transaction, and I don't know. I didn't really take my attention off of anyone other than the person I was talking to. But I was just trying to make the argument that this is what they're doing, obviously, with our money to protect these people, right? Because nobody's been prosecuted by, I don't know who's supposed to do the prosecuting, whether it's the states or the DOJ or whoever has jurisdiction or what have you. Um, so, um, yeah, and then also, what? It's pretty rude. And I said it's an invasion. I feel like it's an invasion of privacy to ask where my money's going because, you know, the banks don't even want to give us the money that is ours. Money's fake, by the way. The real currency is the energy that we have to give to each other. So anyway, just like, yeah, that's what I'm spending my money on. What are you going to do about it? Right? Obviously, that's not the case uh, at all. That's a complete lie and untrue. But again, why are you asking me where my money's going? So I took it as an opportunity to address a real world problem that's not being addressed. I mean, people are speaking out, but we either live in a society that has laws or we live in a society that doesn't. It seems like we live in a society that has laws for certain people and not other people, is what it certainly seems like. It's been that way for a long time. So it's kind of fake. It's kind of fake and gay, if you ask me. But nobody cares about my opinion. Unless you work at the bank and then you you want to know what my opinion is or what I'm gonna do with my money, you know. And if they didn't replace cocaine with fentanyl, it might be on the table. But even the drugs are fake and gay. So don't do drugs. All the drugs are terrible. The closest thing we have to a real drug is probably homegrown marijuana, but they're probably all GMO seeds anyway. Um, but that's the closest we can come probably to a natural therapeutic remedy. But I don't even know if that's accurate. Probably just like salt and minerals, and but I guess those wouldn't be class. Those are elements, um, elements, or maybe basic compounds. Is that a thing? Right. And drugs are categorized as maybe something else. So I don't know. And when we're talking about healing and healing remedies, right? First of all, listen to your guts. Probably a lot of fruits and vegetables, I would think. I'm not a doctor. I'm definitely not a lawyer. Um, so, I'm not a trainer or a health expert either. Just going off experience here. There's a guy jogging out there. Good job, buddy. Exercise, right? Fresh air in nature. If we're talking about healthy things, good healthy things. Um, if you can, I'm driving through Farmington right now. There's a lot of people in the community garden. It's a nice stretch, maybe, I don't know, half a mile, three-quarters of a mile in Farmington. And there's a lot of farmland, and I believe it's a like a community run area, space, very pretty. Anyway, a lot of people out there doing that. If we're talking about healthy things, we kind of started the video off about money, which is fake and gay. That's why the real currency is our energy that we have to give to one another. Again, if we're talking about healthy things, is our energy. And so, how healthy is our energy, right? Did you put good things into your body today? Did you know? And again, they poisoned all the food, air, and water. I know. So be mindful of that too. Again, another conversation that we have to have outside of the government trafficking children is how they've worked in an organized fashion to poison the air, water, and food and fake vaccines, which they labeled a bioweapon. Sorry, a bioweapon they labeled a vaccine. If we're talking about healthy things for our body. So yeah, did you exercise? Did you move around? Did you think? Did you work your mind? Did you have some water or nutrients? Right? What'd you put in your body? What else? Is that a puppy farm? What is? There's like a bunch of golden retrievers at that house over there. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Again, started the video off with the banks. You know, the banks. Yeah, where do I spend my money? How Name for me one major financial institution that hasn't been convicted of and or paid fines in result of laundering money for a fucking cartel. You want to know where my money's going? Who are you protecting? Are you out of your fucking mind asking me that question? I just would love to have a conversation based in reality, based in logic and thought would be nice. And it's what kind of asshole just gives the teller a hard time, right? But it's not cute. It's not funny. Like, we are in a time of information that, right? Artificial intelligence, right? And as we talk about the information, that's another thing. The AIs are programmed through people, essentially, unless they're self-writing, which is even, comes from somewhere, right? The codes, however the information is being pulled, where it's being pulled from, whatever, however the process works, right? It all comes from someone who programmed it or someone who fed the information in, right? Where's the information coming from? Are they verified sources? I mean, AI is really, really big on verified sources, but then the AI will go on or off topic and go on these tangents about your mental health or this and that, and which is why a lot of the AIs are being um, prosecuted, litigated for causing individuals to go do harm to themselves or to someone else by psychological manipulation. Okay. um, and so it's really important for people to just really think critically about information sharing, how it's being done, how our own personal biometric information is being used against us with the self-assembling nanotechnology and the frequency weapons and the targeting and everything else that nobody else wants to talk about except maybe a couple whistleblowers with inside the major organizations like Dr. Robert Duncan, Karen Melton Stewart. Shout out to Karen Melton Stewart. And right, that whistleblower from the CIA who just came forward about the MK Ultra documents that apparently got stolen out of Tulsi Gabbard's office, the other day. But she wants to know where my money is going. What the fuck kind of conversation are we even having right now? Okay. When we can't talk about where the money, what are you going to spend that money on? I don't know. I was thinking about doing a re-audit of the last 8 Pentagon audits because they couldn't really figure out where trillions and trillions of dollars went. So maybe I'll just pump my 4K to find out where everyone else's money went, right? Maybe I'll just do that. Seeing how it's all fucking fentanyl now and I can't do cocaine, right? Assholes. Oh, it's just hilarious. Oh, but I have mental health issues, right? Right, because I'm asking questions. Yeah, because I want to see my son. You're all fucking retarded. It's disgusting. People better start, again, and I said this weeks ago, if not days ago, months ago, years ago. People better start telling the truth, right? The truth. And, where am I going to spend this money? This $4,000, part of it is gonna go toward paying off the car that I'm driving right now, right? So this is free and clear. Thank you, Mom, for the loan to help me buy this. Um, so part of that money is going to go there. And the rest of it, I would like to see go towards child support, but I haven't seen my son in months, and that's not appropriate. That's psychological child abuse of a minor. And I don't want to support that in any way, shape, or form because I'm not being allowed to see my son. And it's not okay. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe do we get into a poker tournament? I don't know. I got a lot of work to do. So um, I don't know. Maybe we'll buy some food with the remaining amount. Probably got more bills to pay, to be honest, right? We should probably pay a phone bill. Got to pay a phone bill. Got to pay a credit card bill. I think it's $200 or thereabouts. Um, it's probably a good idea to keep some gas money on hand because they're genociding other countries and transferring wealth like they have been doing, right, for the last several years, aggressively, more aggressively so in the last several years. I don't know. I don't know that realistically, like a re-audit of the Pentagon is probably the best idea that I can come up with on the spot, right? To see where all the money went that the Pentagon can't account for, right? Everyone's in a tizzy about the billions of dollars that went to Ukraine, but nobody's really interested in what happened on the homeland, right? And if you ask a question about it and you noticed what's going on, right? Man, if you noticed, if you noticed the crimes that our own people are committing, if you noticed, you are a national threat to security. You're a national security threat. You are likely going to be targeted for the rest of your life. If you get too close to the truth, they will Seth Rich you without a second thought. If you're like a minor annoyance, you probably just get like lied about and maybe get gang stalked, right? Shout out to Nick Fuentes, right? What a what a faggot. You know what I mean? Nick Fuentes. Um, you might get gang stalked. You might just get harassed. You might get blackballed from the industry that you work. It might be hard for you to find a job if you notice stuff. You get close to the truth. Um, yeah, but if the alternative, oh, right, we should talk about the alternative. If you're a lying piece of shit, right, because your job doesn't matter, right? Look at who do you work for? Yeah, tell me who you work for, and then we'll talk about it, right? So your job sucks, and if you are lying to support the illegal, and I don't give a shit if it's fucking protected in business law and everything else to protect the corporations, go fuck yourself. If you're messing with God's creation, right? If you work in the healthcare industry, if you work in questionable research, right? If you're one of the spin-off DARPA programs or whoever, like you work for the government, you got a government job. Oh, you're a doctor, you're a scientist. Hey, where did the scientists go? Where did all the scientists go? So if you hold position, power, and title, and you are obfuscating, misleading, outright lying to collect a paycheck and fuck over humanity, that's the alternative, right? So you can either, go through some, your life. Don't get me wrong, your life's gonna be fucking brutal if you're targeted and you notice stuff and you think logically and you actually formulate a thought and you say, hey, no, this is wrong, right? And you get the retaliation from the powers that be, like Mohegan Sun, right, and stuff like that. Shout out to Rob McGuckin and Ram Blazer and Apex Systems. How's Lockheed Martin's stock price doing? Oh, it's Saturday. Who gives a fuck, right? Um, and everyone in Congress and Senate with the bank accounts and so on. And we don't need to talk about Israel. The United States have redacted of Israel. We don't even, right? Because it's just one big business. It's one big business. I lost my train of thought. Oh man. Oh, the difference between being a good person and telling the truth or keeping your mouth shut to, keep your fake friends and collect a paycheck, right? Because these are very, different paths that we choose. We either choose to acknowledge the things that are wrong that are right before us, or we choose to remain silent and ignore it and pretend it's not happening, right? These are choices we make as adults. as adults. And it sounds so silly and obvious to say it out loud, doesn't it? Like, why is he saying he shouldn't have to say that? We're all adults. So we just choose to do the right thing. It seems so fucking obvious, doesn't it? Like prosecuting everyone on Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile list. Doesn't it seem so obvious with the 80 fusion centers in the United States of America, right? What are the fusion centers for? Oh, we have all this information and information sharing and gathering, well, run by the FBI and the state police, but we can't figure out who the criminals are with all this information. Or is it more likely that they know pointedly, in fact, exactly who these people are and they're protecting them because of their fake and gay jobs, right? And their status in society because they kept their mouth shut to collect a paycheck and they know exactly who these people are. How's that? How's that for a conspiracy theory? And I just got to work, so I guess we're gonna try to make a couple more pennies, right? You know, because we're working on the fake and gay fucking currency system. You know what I mean? Anyway, how do we summarize that video? We don't. Go do your research. Truth wins.